Yo, as ISOM number one, it's 3.517 and counting million. That is almost 41,000 total purchases. Thank you guys, of course, for the support. Go watch our previous video that we did over at Riververse Comics YouTube talking about the cards that we are having for sale. But there are guys that are mad. Those reply guys, those hilarious reply guys that get upset because I understand marketing. And they like to try to pretend like I'm doing something that's just so out of pocket. How dare you? You can't sell on your own merits. Never mind the fact that you have all these trailers and campaign descriptions. You do all these streams talking about your book. You're always showing everything off. Never mind that. How dare you look at the people who have ran the industry into the ground and used them to sell your product. Boy, I would hate to be these idiots, I guess, in the 90s, even the 80s, the Cola Wars and Sega Genesis, do what Nintendo, all that. Even the burger companies, apparently they were just so out of pocket. Todd McFarlane commercials for his Tide toys. Y'all remember them? Where he used to talk about how he's plastering the competition. That was literally like the statement he had these two stand in. We knew who they represented in his actual commercials. That was fine, but God forbid me, I did it better than what you guys are able to do. They get so irate, but I'm going to do it again. Because why would I not? This is what I'm up against. We got more details on the I guess, billionth spider person. And this is Spider-Verse, Edge of the Spider-Verse 5. I think 4 is the one that, is it Edge of the Spider-Verse 4 that has the gay or lesbian or something like that disabled Spider-Man, Spider-Person, and this is the gay one that's on the next issue, if I'm not mistaken, on Edge of the Spider-Verse number 5. And this is Web Weaver. We talked about this when it was when it first came out. It wasn't just a gay one. I mean, they had to, of course, let you know everything about it. The Access Media, the Access Media guys that work for this company, CBR right here, they don't like me. They're not too fond of me, and that's fine. But, of course, they lead with this. Marvel reveals details from the first gay Spider-Man. If you don't think that was a talking point in terms of approved talking points by way of this company, you're insane. This is what they wanted to lead with. So this character appears to have been classmates with the only Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And he pushed Peter out of the way from being bitten by this radiated spider that began to develop powers. So that's, I guess, this one's origin story. And as you can see, I don't know if you have seen, let me go up here. We get some more images, by the way, of the Spider-Verse. And, there's a variant. Looks like another variant where he's walking down the aisle with a bunch of other spider folk that are watching him. I mean, I believe this is like a fashion designer. I think we talked about that. So cliche is just about all get out. You can see how gay this thing is here. And I don't know if this is ashamed parents or something like that they're running out, that he's running out crying about and over, something like that. Of course, there'll be some struggles regarding the sexuality. Oh, there's some a page. Oh, with no letters. Oh, wow. They put out previews that had no letters on them. I remember there's this other black guy that started some comic book company, and people got upset because apparently I was supposed to show them 10 pages of letters, but looks like all these have no letters on them. Just throwing that out there, by the way. So, yes. It is, that looks like that's how the person got the powers. And it says Marvel said the character's role in Edge of Spider-Verse number 5, Web Weaver, a not so mild mannered fashion designer at Van Dyne, gets spider powers and shows us a very different kind of spider slayer in a story by Steve Fox and somebody's name that I can't pronounce. See him strut the runway. In front of his fellow spiders in a variant cover by Chris Anka, the amazing artist behind Web Weaver's fabulous design, they say, with a lisp. You can like sense it. Fabulous. I actually joked when I said Spider-Man is now fabulous. Remember, that was the leading point. And they're really running with that. I mean, this is about as cliche as it gets. The first gay Spider-Man would debut Edge of the Spider. It said in June 16th tweet, surprise, I had the huge gay honor of helping co-create Web Weaver, who will make his debut in Edge of the Spider-Verse #5 this September. And this is what Fox, who was the writer, I believe, who was also gay or something like that. That's what they put out. So it is a person that is making this very flamboyantly gay, cliche gay spider person. And look, guys, the crack smokers that watch my videos and others and hate watch, and they're gonna, oh, well, he's against these types of people. You see, it's not about that. It's a couple of different things that go on here that you have to consider. Let's first start out with the sheer laziness of yet another spider person. I know with the introduction of web spiders, and now you have all of these different spider folk, different realities with spider people. I think it's very stupid, considering how Peter Parker's origin story of his own seems to try to take away from his uniqueness, but we've already seen it. So what happens is you get all these palette swaps and other versions that are basically weird versions of a spider folk. And there's nothing from a creative perspective, like we've seen that already. And it's not that you can't create, let's say, an additional hero that has powers that are based on a spider per se. But these are just basically variants of Spider-Man. It's all these are. They lead with that. Spider-Verse is all it is. Just, hey, look at this version. There's a Spider-Man that's kind of like this. So it's less about it being, hey, here's a unique character that also maybe got his or her powers from like the bug. It's a spider, arachnid, or whatever you want to call it. It's not what we have here. It's just, hey, here's a Spider-Man. And it's inherently lazy. But of course, there's the other part of it that definitely in this day and age, and this is the part that the folks that don't listen to us don't ever want to consider, that it's so on par, so on the nose for what we see. I mean, you talk about this guy's talking about, oh, I have the big gay pleasure of gay honor of whatever that he said he had. And it's like, dude, we're seeing this in like so many different forms of entertainment and so many different forms of media where you're really getting the predictable, on the nose, beating your audience over the head, social view of often the writer, okay? And they just want to check a box and they want to do it for the headlines and you see that being replicated so often. This is why so many people are turning their attention away from what the guys who have controlled the medium for so long. They're turning their attention away from that and then wanting to go somewhere else. So of course I'm going to bring it up because I'm a comic book creator that has introduced his own universe. And it's important. Not only just for compare and contrast sake, for a learning experience, for especially potential people that want to enter into this market. They need to know that there's alternatives, but they also need to understand why these are viable or and if you are a person that is trying to gauge the market as you are going to enter it, it's important that you know where the demand is, where is it coming from. People want comic book material. They really do. But what they don't want is necessarily that. Where that's what you lead with, okay? You lead with the sexuality of the character. The only reason this character exists is because of the sexuality of the character, and you're telling us that. Well, that's maybe interesting to people that make stan accounts and will retweet and all that. But just much like we saw with the sales of Son of Superman going in the tank, that is appealing to people that really, number one, don't have capital, but they aren't actually buyers. And I think that's where we come in. It's like, yeah, we don't have the access media covering us, and I never expected them to do that, and I'm not going to send them an advanced copy or kiss their behind to have them do that. Screw that. This is an organic thing. And we put out a product, and people came and supported it, and we marketed it very, very well. And we packaged it very, very well and presented a comparable project. But this is my alternative here, and this is cover B of ISOM, which you will be able to get very, very soon. I wanted to give people that wanted to read comic books, escape in comic books, and get at the ground level of this entertainment and this medium, and be promised that, well, you know, you're going to get books that are valuable. It's not going to be wiped away with some sort of multiversal event or something. And you see my code of ethics, respecting the customer and all of that. See, I'm leading with the content, and I'm not saying that I'm going to knock it out the park with every single campaign that is that we put out there. But what I can promise is that I'm not going to give you that, what we just saw. That's not what I'm interested in. So you have to understand that if you are to understand why so many people are enthusiastic about, it's not just my project, but these other alternative projects. And because we didn't go through their proper channels, you got some very, very aggravated people that have shown themselves like, wow, why are people going to look at that? And then their first instinct is to insult the customers, right? Call you pay pigs, tell you that you're brainwashed. They don't get it. They don't get it at all. They don't understand what the content problem is, and they certainly don't understand from the business perspective why so many people are turned off by these companies that are gaslighting them, or have members or agents, if you will, of these companies that are gaslighting them. They just want to be respected, and they want a good material. And I'm promising to provide that. But that's what I'm up against. Of course I get giddy. Of course I'm enthusiastic. Of course I am going to highlight it. Because these are the weirdos that ran the industry into the ground, and you're just mad that we're capitalizing on it. Well, you should be mad at every single business that has ever been created. They feel the demand. Yo, I appreciate you as always. And if you're into comics or want to get into them, go visit Rippaverse.com, where you can check out my own comic book company, Rippaverse Publishing. Our first book, ISOM #1, is currently up for pre-order right now. You can also check out the company trailer and the ISOM campaign trailer so that you can make an informed purchase. We've cleared over $3.3 million in sales, and many of our supporters are viewers just like yourselves. And because of that, I have to thank you all personally. I do appreciate you. I can't wait for you to learn more about ISOM himself and already fan favorite Yaira. We ship internationally, so no matter what side of the globe you're on, we'd love to have you as a customer. Much love and big thanks.